Welcome to PSEG Social Impact Film Series, Standing in Solidarity. My name is Donna Walker-Kuhn. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm Senior Advisor of Social Impact at NJPAC. I'm brown-skinned, I have shoulder-length locks, I'm wearing glasses, and I have on a yellow sweater. Thank all of you for participating on Zoom. Because of the extreme weather conditions, we reversed the panel to virtual. I also want to acknowledge that we had confirmations from all 9 of the Divine Nine to host resource tables, sharing information about their accomplishments and opportunities for engaging community support. We're not able to enjoy those resource tables virtually, but I wanted to acknowledge that it was part of our presentation had we met in person. This evening, we're pleased to present a celebratory and very important conversation, The Divine Nine, Agents of Change. We will hear about the impact of the Divine Nine, the sororities and fraternities that have helped shape our communities, colleges, and civic organizations, and their contribution to a better society. I hope you were able to watch the PSEG Foundation Social Impact film in advance. The name of it is African American Fraternities and Sororities, The Divine Nine. There were a number of amazing individuals who helped us put this panel together, and I wanted to especially acknowledge the support of Sherlock Dow, President of National Pan-Hellenic Council of Central Jersey. This social justice series is part of our Standing in Solidarity initiative. The purpose of this series is to bring our community together and to encourage everyone to take part in the movement to ensure civil rights for all. On our website, you can find archived prior social justice panel discussions, as well as resources that will help you take action. We're also very happy to have as our advisors the Newark NAACP, New Jersey Institute for Social Justice, Newark Arts, the Africana Institute at Essex County College, Asian American Arts Alliance, ACLU New Jersey, and our newest advisors, the Newark Office of Film and Television and Eyes Like Mine. Also, I would like to acknowledge the role of Reverend Jesse Jackson, who was a stalwart example of the intersection of social justice, civil rights, arts, and culture. And I was able to experience this brilliant integration of arts, culture, and economic development, as well as the power of a community to fight for economic equity while attending Operation Breadbasket, which was a national movement founded in Atlanta by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And Reverend Jackson held weekly meetings on the South Side of Chicago. As a teenager, I was deeply affected by these 3 hours of classes and discussions where we learned about economic development and exposed to political analysis. But every meeting opened with entertainment, often by celebrity icons such as Michael Jackson, Roberta Flack, Bill Cosby. And I believe this merger of cultural performances with political and economic messages accomplished 2 goals: introducing the artist and opening the hearts and minds of all of us to hear the messages of the day. So I wanted to just make that acknowledgement as we are celebrating the Divine Nine this evening. And now NJPAC would like to offer a land acknowledgement. The language we're using was created with consultation and guidance from Chief Dwayne Perry of the Rampopo Munsee Lenape tribe and Oleana Whispering Dove of the Eastern Salagi Algonquin descendants. We're grateful to them for their generosity, wisdom, and labor to craft these words. We, the Lenape, original benefactors of land once ripened and cultivated with attentiveness to the Creator and her ascendancy, express everlasting gratitude to our Creator for the traditional ancestral jurisdictions of the Munsee, Esopus, Canarsie, Capsea, Werparoi, Siwanoy, and Weekasqueak, jointly known today as the Rampopo and Natakote Lene Lenape. Let this, our land acknowledgement, be the beginning of our return to unity. Let us be guardians of the water, the air, and the earth, the 4-legged, the flyers, the swimmers, the crawlers, the mammal people, people, and the green. Let us now stand lifting our humanity and rapturing with Earth's consciousness as guardians of harmony and kindness. I would also like to thank our corporate sponsor. Since 2014, PSEG and the PSEG Foundation have partnered with NJPAC to pair screenings on socially engaged films with thoughtful talks featuring activists, artists, academics, journalists, and other experts. We are extremely grateful for their ongoing support. This year, we have added a wonderful additional component to our Standing in Solidarity events: poetry. There will be a poetry reading in partnership with Dodge Poetry. And today we're going to hear from poet Courtney Lamar Charleston, an award-winning poet and author of It's Important to Remember. Charleston's poems paint themselves against the backgrounds of past and present and grapple with race, masculinity, class, family, faith, and how identity is functionally a transition zone between all of these competing markers. Said differently, his work on the page is a call for a more involved understanding of the diversity and depth of the human experience that allows us to lean into genuine love for and beyond the communities we belong to. Take it away, Courtney.
Thank you, Donna. Good evening, everyone. It's an honor and privilege and pleasure to open the space tonight with some words of poetry. I'll be reading a poem from my new book, It's Important I Remember, and this one is titled, It's Important I Remember That Fannie Lou Hamer Kept the Phone Off the Hook. Because she'd already answered the calling, she knew what threats were on the other line. There was no need to add ringing to that already in her ears. The bangs of 16 errant bullets bouncing against her eardrums, the drumming of the police officer's blackjack held in one black inmate's hand and then another's against her exposed body at the law's order. What didn't kill her didn't kill her. So she wheeled on toward freedom with the freedom ballad, Freedom Summer, singing hymns to her comrades the whole bus ride. By the time they arrived in Atlantic City for the DNC, the convention hall was buzzing. There was a pulse that defied death as she did any other day. Fannie Lou came to represent, to inoculate a Mississippi strain of illiberalism within the democracy, to take a literal seat at the proverbial table that she and her people deserved. This assertion of principle presented an urgent political problem, as even the President of the United States tried to black out the Black woman whose hands were no strangers to the soil of the situation, being on the ground, in the dirt, from sharecropping in the cotton fields to planting the seeds of resistance in the hearts of students. The news cameras cut away to the White House as she spoke before the Credentials Committee that afternoon, but she was so compelling they cut back to her testimony that night. In questioning America, in undermining its very sense of soul, Hamer hit the nail on the head for a lot of working men and women, watching in their living rooms, the nail that closed the coffin on President Johnson's chances of carrying Mississippi against Barry Goldwater come November. The beginning of a fall of one sort, but also the rise of something truer. And somewhere over the delta, God thundered. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Courtney, for that beautiful poem. It is now my great pleasure to introduce our moderator for this evening. Our moderator is Calvin Ledford Jr., the member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity, Inc., He's president of the PSEG Foundation and director of PSEG Corporate Social Responsibility. In this role, Mr. Ledford has responsibility of management and governance of all the philanthropic programs and operations in corporate citizenship, which include corporate giving, in-kind giving, volunteerism, and the PSEG Foundation. Calvin's over 35-year career at PSEG has allowed him to cultivate and maintain strong relationships with communities and stakeholders all across PSEG's service and operating territories. Mr. Ledford is also very active in a number of community initiatives. In addition to his participation as an Omega, he also serves as the vice chair of the University Hospital Foundation Board, the Board of Trustees on the New Jersey Hall of Fame, Newark Regional Business Partnership Board, as well as a member of the Board of Visitors for the College of Arts and Science at Howard University. A well-accomplished individual, we are delighted to have you, Mr. Ledford. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Donna. First of all, that sounds like a bit too much work that I'm doing, but thank you very much and welcome everybody. Welcome and thank you for being with us virtually. Believe me, we are all equally as disappointed that we're not able to be in person, but thank you for taking the time. You know, it's a difficult day today. We're going through a historic blizzard during the East Coast, and I know many of you are still snowed in, but if you took the time to be with us this evening, we thank you for it. But please, if you're doing any shoveling or have shoveling to do, please be safe. Number one priority should be that for you, as well as it is for us, and it's definitely number one priority for PSE&G. And I must take a moment to acknowledge the many crews that we have out throughout the state who are working to try to keep all the residents and businesses open, residents warm, and the power on. And we thank them for all of the work that they're doing, even in trying weather such as we have today. I'd also like to take a moment and acknowledge our corporate social responsibility team, our entire philanthropic team that does over $12 million in philanthropy in all of the communities in which we serve, both here in New Jersey as well as in New York. And we're also proud of our long-standing partnership with NJPAC, and it's programs like this, Standing in Solidarity, which create a platform for much-needed conversations that can lead to positive actions. But before I go any further, I'm going to ask you to join me. Donna mentioned it already, but please join me in a moment of silence to acknowledge the passing of Reverend Jesse Jackson. And I'm also going to include Dr. Norman C. Francis, for those of you that don't know him, a close to 50 years leader at Xavier and another icon in the civil rights struggle. So if we could just take a moment of silence, please. Thank you for that. It's important to acknowledge the contributions of such profound leaders. Both Reverend Jackson, Dr. Francis were influential in shaping thousands of young minds and significantly impacting the lives of African Americans and so many others. The legacies will live on and help set the stage for our discussion today about the traditions and the current work of the Divine Nine, the most well-known of the Black Greek fraternities and sororities. Over the last 5 years, if you didn't know, the enrollment at historically Black colleges and universities has continued to increase, in many cases setting records. This is the perfect time to discuss the history of the Divine Nine and how these organizations are still at work in our communities. For those of you that don't know, the actual name for the Divine Nine is the Panhellenic Council. The Panhellenic Council was founded on May 10th, 1930, on the campus of Howard University, later incorporated in 1937. Originally, there were only 5 of the organizations that were the original members of the Panhellenic Council, and that continued to grow over time to as recently as 1997, when the ninth organization joined, thus coining the name the Divine Nine. But just thinking about history a little bit, even at a time when African American men and much later women were allowed to study at predominantly white institutions of higher learning, they were still segregated, subjected to Jim Crow laws and other forms of racism, and relied upon each other for support. And that has been a part of the African American tradition. Out of the adversity of our brothers and sisters, found ways to thrive. Our panel has representatives from each of the fine organizations. And before I ask each of the panelists to introduce themselves and their affiliation, I must state that I am a proud member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, the Upsilon Phi chapter, which is right here in Newark, New Jersey, which will be turning 100 years in 2027. At this time, may I ask the guests of the panel to please turn on your cameras and your microphones. And as they're doing that, I'd just like to take a moment to thank and welcome each of you. It's Keisha Butler, Nigel Coelho, Fred Davis, William Parrish, Erica Scholars, Theodore Stevens, Monica Townsend, Annette Harrell Vick, L. Manny Viney. Thank all of you for taking the time, and I am looking forward to this discussion. Right. So let's get right into it. Let's get right into it. So I'm going to give each of you an opportunity to further introduce yourselves. Please state your affiliation, your organization, a little bit about its founding, a little bit about its principles, and why don't we go right in order? We go right in order. I'm going to start with Mr. Fred Davis.
Thank you, Calvin. Appreciate you, brother.
Always.
So good evening, beloveds. My name is Fred Davis. I'm the president of Alpha Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. I'm a CPA. I'm a tax attorney. In 2025, I was named by Forbes as one of the top 200 CPAs in the country. Alpha Phi Alpha was founded on December 4th, 1906, as the first intercollegiate Greek letter fraternity established for African American men. Notable members include Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Thurgood Marshall, Paul Robeson, Charles Rango, Andrew Young, Governor Wes Moore, Mayor David Deakins, and the best mayor in the state in the country, the Newark mayor, Mayor Raj J. Baraka, to name a few. This year, Alpha Lambda chapter celebrates 100 years in New Jersey. Alpha Phi Alpha celebrates 120 years of existence, and I'm very proud of that. Our mission is to develop leaders, promote brotherhood and academic excellence, while providing service and advocacy for our communities. Our aims are manly deeds, scholarship, and love for all mankind. I think that was my 90 seconds.
You got it, Fred. You got it. Annette?
Yes, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you, first of all, for having me on this panel to participate with all of my D9 brothers and sisters. Such a pleasure to be surrounded by them. My name is Annette Harrell Vick, and it is my honor to serve as the president of the Beta Alpha Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Beta Alpha Omega was chartered in 1934 and is the first chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha in the state of New Jersey. And our service areas include the largest urban area in New Jersey, Newark, then Irvington and Hillside. Alpha Kappa Alpha was founded in 1908 on the campus of Howard University in Washington, D.C. We are the first Greek letter organization, female Greek letter sorority established by African American women. And like, if I want to set the stage, it's like 1908, there were fewer than 1,000 African Americans enrolled in universities in America, and between 1908 and 1911, only 25 women were graduated from Howard University. Our visionary Ethel Hedgeman Lyle and our 15 other founding members were among these 16 women. Alpha Kappa Alpha was founded on a mission of 5 basic tenets that have remained unchanged since the sorority's inception. Our mission is to cultivate and encourage high scholastic and ethical standards, to promote unity and friendship among college women, to study and help alleviate problems concerning girls and women in order to improve their social stature, and to maintain a progressive interest in college life, and of course, to be of service to all mankind. Some of our notable, I would like to say that our international president is CEO Danette Anthony Reed. We have more than 390,000 initiated members, more than 1,100 graduate and undergraduate chapters. We have chapters in 15 nations and territories, including the United States, Bahamas, Bermuda, Canada, Germany, Japan, Liberia, Nigeria, Puerto Rico, South Korea, South Africa, United Arab Emirates, United Kingdom, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and West Africa. Some of our notable members include Coretta Scott King. Help me, I'm blanking. Coretta Scott King, and let me just stop here since I'm blanking and say the first Vice President, African-American female Vice President of the United States. And you all know her name. Say it out loud. Come on. Say it again. I'm waiting for you.
Harris.
We got you. We got
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, for sure.
Vice President
Yeah,
Kamala
for sure.
Harris.
That's right.
Thank you,
Kamala
thank you,
Harris.
thank you, and thank you for your time.
It's quite all right. Appreciate you, Annette.
You're welcome.
Elmani?
Yes, hello, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Elmani S. Viney. I am a member of the Jersey City alumni of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. I'm actually a charter member. We established our chapter in 2007 in my hometown where I'm born and raised of Jersey City. I am also the past National Academy Achievement Director for Kappa Alpha Psi, as well as past Executive Director of the Kappa Alpha Psi Foundation and past National Guide Right Chairman. As the National Guide Right Chairman, we oversaw our Kappa League program, which is one of the largest youth leadership programs for young men of color in the United States of America. And actually, we have a chapter of our Kappa League established in our Germany chapter as well. Along with that, I want to give a shout out to our chapters within the New Jersey area. Along with Jersey City, we have our Newark alumni chapter, also our Maplewood Oranges chapter, Montclair alumni chapter, Plainfield alumni chapter, Inglewood Teaneck alumni chapter, and that's just in this area. We are all a part of the northeastern province of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Kappa Alpha Psi has 12 provinces. Our fraternity was established on January 5th, 1911 on the campus of Indiana University by our 10 illustrious founders. Our fundamental purpose is honorable achievement in every field of human endeavor, and our motto is indeed training for leadership. We have some powerful and notable members. One of our living members, for example, our Laura Reith Award winner, Rodney St. Atkins, as well as Brother Colin Kaepernick. Past members who have gone on to our Golden Shores, such as Brother Oscar Robinson and Reginald L. Lewis, just to name a few. All deference included. I want to give acknowledgement to our province, our Northeastern Province Polemarch, which is Theodore L. Sanchez, and our Grand Polemarch of our fraternity, Mr. Jimmy L. McMichael. We stand before you, and as members of Kappa Alpha Psi, and especially of the Jersey Alumni Chapter, our motto is to be relevant. We want to make clear that we are not just working with our communities, but making sure that we're having the fundamental impact that our communities need. Thank you.
Appreciate you, Elmani. Mr. Parrish.
Good evening, Brother Calvin Leffert. Thank you for this opportunity and this invitation to the panel. Thank you all, and I'm glad to be here with you this evening, and to everyone that's watching. Greetings. My name is William Parrish Jr., and I serve as founder and CEO of an organization called HBCU Greatness. But more importantly than that, I am the past president of the Eta Pi chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, headquartered in Montclair, New Jersey. I've held several positions of authority in the organization, including second vice basileus, first Vice Bachelor's and President, as well as our Governor Brown Memorial Scholarship Dance for 4 years. So almost 10 years of executive service in the organization. Our cardinal principles are manhood, scholarship, perseverance, and uplift. And our motto is friendship is essential to the soul. And what you might know about the Qs, the community Qs from Ada Pi chapter, certainly all Qs, is our abundance and love for friendship. We have a great enthusiasm, and we demonstrate it outwardly. Our organization was founded November 17th, 1911 at Howard University by 3 undergraduates and a faculty advisor. And we came together to show that men could achieve on a high level and a common attainment. We look forward to continuing to participate in the community. We have several programs that we have operated for over 20 years. Most famously is our Ernest Everett Just mentoring program, named after that faculty advisor who was instrumental in our founding, where we mentor young boys in the East Orange community, not just East Orange, but folks that can get to us in the East Orange area, from middle school to high school, everything from respect and life skills, as well as financial literacy, stock market training, business and entrepreneurship training, and even video game coding and opportunities for career advancement. I was initiated at Hampton University, the Gamma Epsilon chapter, in 1987. I remain, my commitment remains. I am a life member of the organization, and I'm a 1989 graduate of Hampton University as well, from East Orange, New Jersey. And I look forward to this discussion and how we all solve the world issues.
Appreciate you, brother. Okay, next we'll hear from Erica.
Good evening. Good evening. It is a pleasure to be among this esteemed panel, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here. My name is Erica Scholars, and I am professionally a director working in finance, proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I am a member and past president of the North Jersey Alumni Chapter, which is the first chapter in the state of New Jersey, chartered in 1939. We cover the areas of Hudson, Essex, and Union County. In my current role as New Jersey State Coordinator, I am responsible for the oversight of 18 chapters in the state of New Jersey. Delta Sigma Theta was founded on January 13, 1913 at Howard University by 22 courageous, extraordinary, visionary women. We are an organization of college-educated women united by a shared commitment to sisterhood, scholarship, service, and social action. The work that we do is focused on our 5-point programmatic thrust, which includes educational development, economic development, physical and mental health, political awareness, and international awareness and involvement. Our public motto is "Intelligence is the torch of wisdom." Some notable deltas are Tasonda Brown Duckett, who is the CEO of TIA Craft, Dorothy Irene Height, president of the National Council of Negro Women, Siobhan Arline Bradley, who currently serves as the president of the National Council of Negro Women. We also have Ketanji Brown Jackson and Newark's own Queen Latifah. It is a pleasure to be here today, and I look forward to the conversation.
Thank you, Erica. Appreciate it. Nigel, let's hear about yourself a little bit, no sigmas.
All right. Thank you, my brother. It's just great to be with this amazing group of panelists. I know so many of you so well because we are out in these streets doing this service. So it's great to be connected with this group. Good evening, all. My name is Nigel Coelho, a proud member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Professionally, I serve as a vice president of operations for U.S. Foods, Metro New York, the largest and fastest growing market in our Fortune 100 organization. Fraternally, I'm a spring 1994 initiate of Phi Beta Sigma, becoming a member while attending my alma mater, Seton Hall University. I also have the privilege currently of serving as the 28th Eastern Regional Director of Phi Beta Sigma with organizational responsibility for 129 chapters from the New England states down to the Commonwealth of Virginia, and inclusive of 5 of our 13 international chapters. I also had the privilege to serve as a past International Sigma Zeta liaison for our fraternity, partnering with our constitutionally bound sorors of Zeta Phi Beta. Phi Beta Sigma was founded on Friday, January the 9th, 1914, by 3 visionaries at Howard University, A. Langston Taylor, Leonard F. Morse, and Charles I. Brown. Our principles: brotherhood, which emphasizes unity, loyalty, and a lifelong bond; scholarship, which encourages educational achievement and professional development; and of course, service, which focuses on community engagement, social action, and social justice. Our motto: culture for service and service for humanity, which is focused by our 3 national programs: social action, education, and bigger and better business. Some of our notable members: Congressman John Lewis, our dearly departed, who would have been 86 years old on this past Saturday; A. Philip Randolph, Huey P. Newton, James Weldon Johnson, the co-author of Lift Every Voice and Sing, Kwame Nkrumah, and of course, NFL Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith. Before I close, a couple of things. I'd like to just give a shout out to my home chapter, the home team, many of whom I know are on here tonight. Chi Sigma chapter of Phi Beta Sigma fraternity, the largest D9 fraternal alumni chapter in New Jersey, who will soon be celebrating our 103rd chapter anniversary, and have had the privilege of mentoring hundreds, almost thousands of young men through our award-winning Sigma Beta clubs. Some notable members of the home team: Mayors Tony Voss of Irvington, Mayor Adrian Mapp of Plainfield, the Deputy Mayor for the City of Newark, my good friend and fellow Seton Hall alum, Barry Ford, the President of Kean University, Dr. Lamont O. Repillette. Lastly, I'd like to give special recognition to my fellow General Board member and our 37th International President, the Honorable David Turner. Look forward to this engagement with this group tonight. Thanks all.
Appreciate you, Nigel. Monica?
Yes, thank you. I just echo the sentiment in the room. This is such an exciting event, and I'm proud to be here this evening. My name is Monica Townsend. I am the State Social Action and Partnership Coordinator for Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. On behalf of our International President and CEO, Dr. Stacy N.C. Grant, and our Atlantic Region Director, Honorable Beverly S. Tatham, and our amazing State Director, Kenyatta M. Pitts, I bring you greetings from Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. We were founded on January 16th, 1920 at Howard University by 5 trailblazing women, and we just celebrated 106 years. We pride ourselves in being a community conscious and action-oriented organization. We're dedicated to providing education and awareness regarding critical issues and concerns while we mobilize people to action. And I am also a member of Omega Mu Zeta chapter, which is the 12th graduate chapter in the state of New Jersey, as the 3rd vice president. Our core principles for Zeta are scholarship, service, sisterhood, and finer womanhood. We hold the historic distinction of being the first to charter a chapter in Monrovia, Liberia, Africa, and the first to form auxiliary groups, and the first, as you heard my fraternity brother say, the first to be constitutionally bound to our fraternity, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Our reach is international. We have chapters in locations such as London, Japan, Germany, and Africa. And we are so excited to be here this evening to share the wonderful work that Zeta has been doing across New Jersey and beyond.
Thank you, Monica. Appreciate it. Now we'll hear from Keisha, talk a little bit about herself and SG Row.
Greater evening, everyone. Thank you so much to New Jersey PAC, PSENG for having me here with you this evening. On behalf of our international Grand Basilisk, Marika T. Harris, and our Northeastern Regional Director, Dawn S. Stanton, I do bring you greetings. My name is Keisha Butler Thomas, and I am a proud member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. I currently serve as the Area 6 Coordinator in the Northeastern region, which is our way of saying that I am blessed to serve all of the graduate and undergraduate chapters in the state of New Jersey, Eastern Pennsylvania, Delaware, and South Korea. Professionally, I am an educator, a strategist, and the founder and CEO of LCK Consulting Services. But tonight, I speak as a woman shaped by the sisterhood, the scholarship, and the service of Sigma Gamma Rho. Sigma Gamma Rho was founded on November 12, 1922, on the campus of Butler University in Indianapolis, Indiana, by 7 visionary educators known as our 7 Pearls. At a time when opportunities for Black women were limited, especially in education at predominantly white institutions, these women created an organization rooted in academic excellence, community uplift, and sisterhood. Our motto, greater service, greater progress, is truly rooted in our core principles of sisterhood, scholarship, and service. These are not just words for us, but they are a framework for how we live. Sisterhood grounds us, scholarship sharpens us, and service propels us. One prominent member is Hattie McDaniel, the first Black woman to win an Academy Award breaking racial barriers in Hollywood. Another is Maritza McClendon, the first woman of color to be part of the Olympic swim team. Other notable members include women such as U.S. Representative Barbara Lee, U.S. Representative Robin Kelly, Cheryl Swoops, as well as MC Lyte. These women didn't just achieve personal success. They shifted narratives, and Sigma women have consistently been positioned where influence meets impact in classrooms, in courtrooms, city halls, hospitals, and boardrooms. And I am more than proud to be here in this room with you all tonight to shine that Sigma light. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you, Keisha. And last but certainly not least, a dear friend of mine, Mr. Theodore Stevens. Let's hear a little bit about yourself and those IOTAs.
Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you, Calvin. Thank you so much. And I'm honored to be on this esteemed panel this evening. And I wish also that we could have been in person, but next time for sure. As my name is Ted Stevens, as I said, and I have the pleasure of serving as the Essex County Prosecutor. The Essex County Prosecutor's Office, in case you don't know, is the largest and busiest prosecutor's office in the state of New Jersey. Our motto is to seek justice, to serve justice, and to do justice. I'm also a member of the Phi Omega alumni chapter of Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated, and I have the distinction of having served as the 15th Grand Polaris or International President of Iota Phi Theta, and my administration was primarily responsible for our pursuit and ultimate induction into the National Panhellenic Council. This effort was both challenging and frustrating, but ultimately successful, as I said. And for certainly worthwhile for, I think, the growth of not only my organization, but NPHC as well. IOTA's colors are charcoal brown and gilded gold, and we were founded by 12 audacious brothers on September 19th, 1963, in the throes of the civil rights movement at what is now Morgan State University. We are blessed to have with us still the only living member of a D9 organization, being the Honorable Lonnie Spruill Sr. in Baltimore, Maryland. There have been numerous notable IOTA men, but one I always like to name is my good brother, my good friend in Chicago, the Honorable Bobby Rush, who, in addition to being a former U.S. congressman and a former leader in the Black Panther Party, is the distinction, or holds the distinction of being the only man to beat Barack Obama in an election straight up. It's a pleasure to be with you. And let me just end by saying I just celebrated my 50th year with Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated, but I still feel like I'm pledging. Thanks so much.
But we'll keep it light tonight, Ted. We'll keep it light. We'll keep it light. No, but thank each and every one of you for those introductions. And I realized when I was speaking earlier, and then we took a moment to acknowledge Reverend Jackson and Dr. Francis, I forgot to state, for those that may not know, both of them are members of D9 organizations as well. Reverend Jesse Jackson, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, and Dr. Norman Francis, a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Just wanted to get that on the record for those who may not know that. So thank you for that background. We've taken our virtual audience through the founding, started in 1906 all the way through to 1963. Let's dig a little deeper now. And let's talk about some of the national and international core initiatives or mandated programs that your organization has, and help our audience understand some of the things that your organization works on in our community. And why don't we start with Elmani? Talk a little bit about some of the nationally mandated programs for Kappa Alpha Psi.
Thank you very much. I have to, absolutely talk about our National Guide Right Initiative. We've been around. National Guide Right has actually been around since 1924, but our core program is our Kappa League. Kappa League currently is one of the largest youth leadership programs for young men of color and mentoring in the United States of America. We currently have over 10,000 young men of color and over 300 chapters of Kappa League programs. These programs are governed and overseen by our alumni chapters in the various different states. Percentage-wise, and I'm very proud to say this, is that nearly 99%, is actually 99.8% of our young men graduate from high school. Over 88% go on to a 4-year institution. Along with that, we have seen between $40 to $60 million in academic scholarships for our graduating seniors throughout. I think the most important part, and especially in talking about Guide Right, and it is far beyond the accolades, is when we're talking about the needs of the Black community, we're often talking about resources for young men of color. I'm very proud, and I also want to give a shout out to Phi Beta Sigma and Sigma Beta Club. Nigel, me and Janabu Williams are pretty much like brothers.
That's right.
That's my brother from
That's right.
brother. But I think, and I'll just make this stated, sometimes with us having our Greek letters, it somewhat takes us away from the narrative of the true impact we're actually making in the community as Black organizations. Because at the end of the day, that mother that's living in Jersey City, or that mother that's living in Newark or other places, just wants their son saved. And to know that we are there and that their Black son is going to be surrounded by, positive, amazing, and high achieving Black men. That's something that should be discussed, furthermore, and in terms of our community impact. So I'm absolutely 100% proud to have served as its national leader, but also to see the growth that's taken place far after I have left that position. That is our core program. Along with that program, we do have our Achievement Academy that works on the mentorship and the professional development of our undergraduate members that are there. Of course, with all of our alumni chapters, we absolutely do a community service. We just did a national panhellenic with Hudson County panhellenic in Jersey City for the Christmas holidays. And that was absolutely great. And then we have our St. Jude's partnership to continue to support St. Jude's and the work they're doing with children. So we're really proud, I think, for Kappa Alpha Psi on these levels for the impact that we're making. And again, I just, and as an educator, I know I didn't give my background, but I'm Dean of Students, 28-year veteran educator and current Dean of Students at West Orange High School. But I'm really proud of the work that we're doing and for these young men. And again, I believe in solidarity. Got to also give a shout out to the Sigma Beta Club and Phi Beta Sigma, just the work that they're doing as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that shout out to the Sigmas. And a lot of this conversation is about some of our partnerships. And I must acknowledge the fact that I heard about the program that you mentioned, and I think you all had a few hundred young men on Hampton's campus towards the end of last week. So great to hear that. Annette, can we hear a little bit about some of the nationally mandated programs?
Sure, absolutely, absolutely. So sisterhood and service have been the cornerstone of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority since 1908. And under our current administration, we seek to build upon Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority's rich legacy of service by galvanizing our sisterhood of more than 120 active members to lead on the front lines of change, education, and advocacy. With this administration, we have 5 program initiatives, which include empowering our families, under which we do a childhood initiative power pack, which we affectionately call CHIP. And we know that a lot of our students rely on free lunch and free breakfast programs at school 5 days a week, but what happens on the weekend? So CHIP we partner with these schools in our area, and we provide holiday and weekend meals for children within our local communities. So to date, close to 2 million children have been supported by our Childhood Hunger Initiative Power Pack. We also have a program under Empower Our Families called Leadership Institute, which is a bold platform where the brilliance and potential of young voices and talents is nurtured. We provide space for our children to learn how to lead. This is something leaders are born and made. So we nurture that leadership ability and even bring it forth in those who think that they didn't have it. Our second program initiative, is building our economic wealth, where we support minority-owned businesses in our community. Specifically to talk about one is our Black Dollar Days in June. And our motto on that is wear pink, spend green, and buy Black. And we support minority-owned businesses in our community to the tune of about $50 million so far that we've done that.
Outstanding.
It is. It really is. And it's important that we, especially in times like these, support our own and invest in our own. We also do enhance our environment, which is the third one. And with that, we have already planted over 194,000 trees alone. Then the fourth one is advocate for social justice. And 1,102,000 voters registrants have been completed through the help of Alpha Kappa Alpha Women. And we have also wrote close to 2 million advocacy letters to the Senate, to the governor, to let our voices be heard, which is important. You have a voice, we have to use it. That's what creates change. And the final one is uplift our local community. These initiatives were designed to, uplift our community. Let me give you a couple examples. The first one that we do is we do a community refrigerator on Fridays once a week. And we'll partner with local food services that provide the food, and we collect the food and we go to a local community refrigerator and we fill it every Friday. And people come right away. There's a line because people need help. And they're able to just go in and take the food that they need. One of our initiatives that is actually a project that is specific to Beta Alpha Omega is our Affinity Project. Now, Affinity Project provides intentional and compassionate support to families who have experienced infant death and pregnancy loss. So upon learning that stillborn babies are often wrapped in blankets and quietly buried by the hospital, Beta Alpha Omega leapt into action, and we donate over 50 infant burial outfits to 3 community funeral homes and 2 hospitals in Newark. These burial outfits were meant to provide comfort and bring dignity to parents at a time of profound loss. Then when Beta Alpha Omega learned that we had the support of hospitals, we went a step further. The hospitals partnered with us, Beth Israel Hospital in Newark. They partnered with us, and we were able to gift them teddy bears. Now, when a patient or a parent suffers the loss of an infant or pregnancy, the hospital will take those teddy bears and embed a medical recording of the child's heartbeat into the teddy bear. Give this very special keepsake along with the burial outfit to a grieving parent. The Infinity Program and other signature events, such as the Power of Pink that we do at Community Health Fair, have elevated our chapter's footprint and garnered county and municipal recognition, and it serves as a model of mission-driven, responsive programming aligned with our sororities initiatives to uplift our local community and empower our families to address mental health stability in our areas. So those are some of the things that we do based on the models that have been presented to us through the sorority on an international level, as well as to bring it down locally to the communities of Newark, Irvington, and Hillside. That's what we do.
That's great to hear. So I'm going to ask you to continue to lead us, and let's turn that million new registered numbers to vote into 2 million. So let's keep that action up. So appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Monica, let's hear a little bit about your programs.
Sure, thank you. And it's exciting to hear about everyone else's programs too. We, scholarship is what we do, what we all do. One of our national programs through our, it's called ZNEF, it's Zeta National Education Foundation. And for over 50 years, we proudly have been giving away scholarships to students pursuing higher education opportunities at the undergraduate level and the graduate level. Also, each of our chapters across the state has programming and fundraising activities that they do to give away scholarships for our high school students. So each chapter in New Jersey probably gives away upwards about 10,000 plus in scholarships to high school students every year. And through ZNEF, Zeta has awarded in the past 5 years over $3 million in scholarships to college students. And so that is something we are really proud of. We continue to support those lifelong learners with academic programming and programming through our chapters to make sure that we are assisting them in advancing their educational opportunities so that we can transform our communities and transform those young people. We also have a program called Z-Hope, which is Zeta Helping Other People Excel. And this is our community-focused program, community service projects, a longstanding service-oriented program where we make sure that we partner with organizations like March of Dimes and American Cancer Society and AARP, just to name a few, where our members provide community service appropriate activities, and we join forces with the community, right? We link up, we leverage the resources and supports of those communities, and we enrich the community's understanding around specific topics and awareness around those topics. And we bring those resources to the communities so that we can work together. So we've done things around domestic violence. We've done things February with Heart Health Month. So you would see us doing activities to help us get physically active and think about our heart and our health. And we partner with other organizations to help us do that, like the Negro Council of Women with Good Health Wins, to think about physically how we can be well and emotionally how we can be well, and make sure that our communities have this rich information, and so we can work together around that. And we have also our Zeta Get Engaged, which is our social action and civic engagement programs. So again, it's all about partnerships. We partner with organizations to address social justice issues and social action, and we bring awareness to communities. We bring understanding around those issues. And what we really want to do is mobilize people to action, whether it's voter education, voter registration, voter engagement. We make sure that our goal is to stand with communities and stand up for communities when injustice occurs. But we want to make sure that they have the information and the tools and the skills and all the things they need to move things forward that is going to make the difference in their communities. And so our goal really is to inspire, encourage, and empower our membership, our sisterhood, our auxiliary groups to continue speaking up and speaking out on behalf of communities and with communities. So through our Zetas Get Engaged, we do that very well. And we also have our Zeta Day on the Hill. I'm always excited about Zeta Day on the Hill. So every September, we convene our membership, our auxiliary groups, our youth, our fraternity brothers. We go down to DC and we meet with our congressional leaders around specific policies and topics. We have scheduled meetings with them. We have our talking points. We have the policies, and we meet with them to advocate on behalf of our communities. We want to make sure that they know that Zeta is here to stand up and advocate with communities around specific issues that are critical and important. And we discuss those policy initiatives with those congressional leaders. And we empower our memberships while we're there with educational sessions, with leadership workshops, all of that to bring those necessary tools and information so that we can return back to our communities and lead the change that we want to see. And so we know this is an impactful time for us. We go down there, we're down there when the Congressional Black Caucus is taking place. So we're able to have workshops there and our leaders are there. And we really talk about those key issues that are important. So those are just a few examples of the programs that we have.
No, I appreciate it, and I'm going to want to come back to that programs that you're talking about working with the community. And one of the questions a little bit later, because people want to know how they can get involved, even if they're not members of D9 organizations. So one of those programs that you mentioned, I'd like to hear more about it. Ted, if you could share some about the programs with IOTAS.
Senator Calvin, happy to do so. One of the things a couple of the prior folks on the panel talked about the political action committees, and that's something that IOTAS is extremely involved in. In fact, since actually in the last 10 years or so, we've become a part of the leadership of the coordinating that the Day on the Hill and other activities involved down in DC. And the one gentleman in particular named Walter Fields, who people may know, who actually is from Maplewood, New Jersey. He was very active there for a number of years. And he, since leaving Maplewood, has become a member of my fraternity and is our national coordinator for that. So he certainly is well known on the Hill and really is doing a great job to make sure that some of that untapped potential, which I really think the National Pan-Atlantic Council in general holds, really kind of is brought to fruition. I think that's an area that all of us agree that we can certainly, be mightier in. We can certainly show our strength, and it's needed, certainly in these political times. And we know we're not a political conversation, but we all know voting is power. So we need to make sure that we continue to move that forward. Back to our programs, IOTA Youth Alliance is our longest standing program, which really is a nationally coordinated effort which allows each individual chapter to focus on the areas of interest and of need in their particular community. And that has been really run, I think, over the last 40 years with some great results. In terms of nationally, also some of our national initiatives include some partners with some very well-known entities. First and foremost being St. Jude's. We are a gold medal sponsor of St. Jude's and have been down to visit their facilities many times in Memphis. They do great work there, and not only providing efforts certainly for every community, but especially the efforts in the Black community are very well known and are worthy of everybody's support. And we're extremely proud to have been and continue to be partners there. Locally, our community service efforts have been really wide-ranging. Community service hours in Iota Phi Theta are extremely important. In fact, you really cannot get national recognition as a chapter unless you can prove, documented proof of your involvement with community service hours in your particular community. I'm happy to say that our chapter, Phi Omega chapter here in North Jersey, is won the regional award last year for having a robust community service hours, really supporting all levels of grassroots efforts, whether it's Nation's House or other entities that are well known within the community. We're key supporters there. But one effort that I have to point out always that I was extremely proud to be a part of is that during the throes of the pandemic, that we participated and actually coordinated a food insecurity drive at the East Orange Senior Center. And we provided food on a weekly basis for 14 consecutive months, which was a tremendous effort. Rain, shine, snow, we were there 100%. And so that one, I think, may have had the longest lasting effects of anything that I've been involved in here locally.
Outstanding, outstanding. And I did not know that you were instrumental in getting the IOTAs in the Pan-Hellenic Council. Congratulations to you, brother. That was big work.
Thank you. I have the scars to show for it. No question.
Oh, sure. Erica?
Thank you so much. I know we want to leave time for Q&A. We're approaching 7 o'clock, so I'm going to be brief. From a national perspective, we focus on financial fortitude as part of our economic development. So helping people set their financial goals. We know that in our community, sometimes that is very difficult. So we have a lot of financial fortitude programs, and we've had partnerships with D-Free to help us do that. Educationally, we have our Dr. Betty Shabazz Delta Academy, our Delta Gems, and our Embody programs for our youth. And that's where we offer mentorship, guidance, education, especially in the STEM and STEM-related fields. International awareness, we really focus on issues affecting the African diaspora, and we've had initiatives such as a hospital in Haiti, which is called Mary Help of the Sick Mission Hospital, that we've supported. Physical and mental health, we have vast partnerships with various organizations, including St. Jude's, the American Cancer Society, American Diabetes Association, American Heart Association, where we sponsor health fairs and items of that nature. In fact, it's Heart Health Month, so we had a lot of events in our state related to that as well. We also focus on voter registration, voter education. This is part of our political awareness. We have 2 initiatives, Delta Days in the nation's capital and Delta Days in the United Nations, where we have opportunities to speak with legislators about issues that affect our communities and ways that we can use our organization and our influence to help in those areas as well. On a local level, I just want to touch upon some of the things that we've done in the state of New Jersey. Through economic development, we support through our Small Business Saturday initiatives, where we really focus on Black-owned businesses in the state. We also have sessions on, especially during this time that we're having the World Cup in the US, human trafficking. That's a big issue that we've had sessions on as well. We have also raised as part of our Founders Day celebration, we had a drive to raise onesies for babies in NICU units, and we have raised over 1,700 onesies that we will be sharing throughout hospitals in the state of New Jersey. So really focusing on those that really can't fight for themselves, and we want to make sure that they know that they're appreciated and the parents know that we are really supporting them. Lastly, we partner with our D9 organizations through initiatives such as Soup and Socks that we've done in Hudson County. And to come, we're going to have D9 Day in Trenton in April, where we're all going to come together from a legislative perspective to meet at our State House in Trenton. So we really do have an opportunity to impact our community and influence those as well.
Eric, I might come back to you to talk about what's happening in April in Trenton, because I think more people would like to hear about that as we go
I
through
would
this.
love to.
Okay. Brother Parrish.
Thank you, Brother Ledford. The first thing I want to do is, we're actually situated here in Black History Month. And I would be remiss if I did not give credit to our fraternity brother, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, who is the creator of Black History Month, which started as Negro History Week, probably in 1922, but formally accepted in 1926 to combat the erasure of African American, Black culture, and contributions to the civilization. So I'm grateful to be here having this discussion during Black History Month as we honor Brother Dr. Carter G. Woodson. Some of our nationally mandated programs include our Talent Hunt program, where we recognize high schoolers in a couple of different capacities, including musical arts, graphic arts, and vocal. And they go on and compete on an international level within our organization for recognition. We also have a college endowment fund where we commit dollars to historically Black colleges and universities each year, along with our mission to support the United Negro College Fund, as well as the NAACP for each chapter in our organization. Achievement Week is one of our largest programs, which it's conducted every year in November around our founding, where we support and recognize contributions from community members, from our brothers in the chapter, in the district, and the national level. And we recognize Citizens of the Year, Omega Man of the Year. There's a Superior Service Award of the Year, and we do recognize members of the organization as well as members who are of the community who are not in the organization. And we also do blood drives in honor of our brother, Dr. Charles Drew, understanding the importance of health clarity, and being able to save a life and give life. So blood drives where we encourage donation and education around blood drives as well, and a number of other health initiatives, including at the Ada Pi chapter, Spring 5K that we run each year. Our chapter in East Orange is located at 132 South Harrison Street at the intersection of South Harrison and Ada Pi Way, which is a street named for our chapter by Honorable Mayor Ted Green, who is a member of Ada Pi chapter and a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. But what's important about that is each spring we make certain that we get out and we involve the community and encourage active lifestyles, running, dieting, and exercise, to name a few. And then work around voter education and registration is paramount. We have a great time with all we do, and friendship is really essential to our soul, but we are really focused on service and improving the conditions of our people. Lifting as we climb is our implied motto. And I am really, really proud that, we mentioned a moment of silence earlier, but I'm really, really proud for the work of our dear brother, our dearly departed brother, Jesse Jackson, Reverend Jesse Jackson, who is the first and only two-time Black presidential candidate, having run a national campaign for office in 1984 and 1988. So we are very, very proud of the contributions that he has created through Operation Breadbasket with Dr. Martin Luther King, as well as Operation Push and the Rainbow Coalition, where we are fighting for not only social equity, but economic equity as well. So we are really, really excited to be the Community Qs. As I mentioned, we were founded in Montclair, but we serve the greater Essex County community. And I just think it's a great tie-in, considering that so many of our organizations were founded, HBCUs, Howard University specifically, and my opportunity to be initiated, pledge of fraternity at Hampton University, one of the greatest historically Black colleges and university. I know we're not going to really get into that, but very, very proud. And having been a president of the North Jersey Hampton Alumni Chapter, and now the president founder of an organization devoted to students who attend HBCUs HBCU greatness, this effort of service has continued. It was born in me very early on. It's a hallmark of our organization, and I'm really, really grateful for the opportunity to continue that service through several organizations, including the Eta Pi chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated.
Appreciate that, Bill. Appreciate it. And you can't go wrong giving a shout out to Hampton. You just can't. You just can't. Fred, let us hear
All
from
right,
you.
Howard. All right, brother. First and foremost, I have to acknowledge some of our leaders that I didn't do at the beginning. So to stay out of trouble, I want to acknowledge the General President, Lucien J. Metellus, Eastern Regional Vice President, Rasheen Smith, our District Director, Brother Alexander Malukas, and our District Director-elect, Brother James Williams. And also, and I think he's on this call as well, Brother Sherlock Dow, who's the NPHC Area 1 coordinator who oversees chapters from Maine to Virginia. So wanted to make sure I provide that shout out to them, and also mention that Alpha Alpha Lambda chapter is what we call legacy driven, because we stand on scripture that says a good man provides an inheritance for his children's children. And that's what I feel this is a part of, that we're trying to get together to make it for a better day, not only for the next generation, but generations that follow. So some of our national programs date back to the 30s, right? One such program is Project Alpha, and it's focused on middle school young men. For us here in Essex County, we're mentoring at 6 middle schools. In fact, I personally mentor at Avon. I lead the mentoring at Avon Avenue School, and we meet there every month with students. The class that I have is 40 Black males, and over 40 Black males, I should say. Topics include setting and achieving goals, conflict resolution, health relations, physical and mental health. In fact, I want to give a shout out to on mental health, physical health, Ty Day, who's a proud member of Omega Psi Phi, and he comes in and teaches yoga to the kids on our behalf at all 6 schools. Great brother. Being a leader is one of the topics, financial literacy and time management, and dressing and grooming. Our education lead is Earl Brown, Brother Earl Brown, and our Project Alpha lead is Brother Kyle Ramsey. They're doing a phenomenal job. Leadership Development Institute, it's a 3-day college experience where we bring young kids in, actually at Vaughn College, to learn for a weekend on being on a college campus and go through various topics and relate to kids from New York to New Jersey to Pennsylvania, etc. It's a great experience. Other national program is Go to High School, Go to College. And I have to mention this Thursday, the Zeta Nu Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, they're based in Union County. They're hosting a Men of Distinction Conference where over 350, you hear me? 350 young men will be in attendance at Kane University. So they're doing a phenomenal job. 350 young men that's going to be in ties and suits and jackets and what have you all day. So great job by Zeta Nu Lambda chapter. Also, key to all of us, right? And this goes back to our 30s, is the voteless people is a hopeless people. And it's really around Alpha's commitment, to civic engagement. So one, here locally, every September, we recognize National Voters Registration Day. And we advise 3 of the college chapters here in Essex County. And in September, we actually registered at Seton Hall University with the College Brothers, 75 students. So it shows that it works. I know some people say, you're registering people, we should be, activists as well and telling people who are registered what to do. Absolutely. But we need to register these young people to vote as well. Also around voteless peoples or hopeless people, in 2024, we held a mayor panel discussion. We had, D9 mayors, Mayor Baraka, Mayor, Brother Parrish just said it, Mayor Green, Mayor Vertreese, right? Mayor Warren. They represented the D9 to encourage really the locals of Essex County to participate in engaging with politicians. Very important, right? To ask your politicians, hey, what are you doing? What's going on? No, I got an idea, et cetera, et cetera. So, and we engaged them to engage those on how to engage with them. The New Jersey district, again, head by brother Alexander Malukas, held a town hall on May 8th with the New Jersey Attorney General, right? Discuss issues that are important to our community. And I got to tell you, I was involved in this. There was a call bank that was held by the National Panhandle. I know Brother Sherlock Dow led those efforts with Sister Liz Holly and others as well. It was phenomenal. It was in November. All the D9 showed up. One session was at NJIT. I was involved in there. The students were involved. They paid the students as well. I mean, it was phenomenal. And I believe over 205 people were called on one day. So that's, where we bring our collective power together. And last thing I want to say is we have a PAC called the Alpha PAC, the Political Action Committee, right? All the fraternities and sororities have one too. They're very active. Of course, they're separate and distinct from our organizations, and they have to be. But I just want to make sure everyone knows that we do have these PACs that go out and look at how they're going to support candidates that support, issues that our communities need and want and seek. And I'll stop right there, brother.
But thank you for mentioning that, because it's important. It's important. So next we'll go to Keisha, then followed by Nigel. Just a reminder, these are questions about the national or internationally mandated programs. So Keisha?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So Sigma Gamma Rho has longstanding national programs that reflect our commitment to community transformation. And of these programs, we do have 5. Our first being Operation Big Book Bag. Underneath of that program, we do support literacy and youth empowerment. We also have Project Cradle Care, which promotes maternal and infant health while supporting families in need. We also have our Women's Wellness Initiative, which is all about addressing the health disparities among women, particularly Black and Brown women. We also have our Swim 1922 initiative, which is the initiative that allows us to combat drowning and near-death drowning rates in the Black and Brown communities. This is an initiative that is very near and dear to us, as we do have an exclusive partnership with USA Swimming under our Swim 1922 mandate. And our notable soror, Maritza McClendon, does head this initiative for us, as well as this is a reflection of our D9 partnership, as Brother Cullen Jones of Kappa Alpha Psi also works with us exclusively under our Swim 1922 tenet. We also have our annual Youth Symposium, which takes place every year during the month of March. And during our annual Youth Symposium, we do provide programming on pertinent topics to the youth to help to shape our future leaders. I would be remiss not to shout out the brothers of Iota Phi Theta, particularly those here in New Jersey, as they do participate and show up for the young men during our annual Youth Symposium each and every year. And we can count on them to divide and conquer, as we have our Youth Symposium collectively across our sisterhood every year. So the men of Iota Phi Theta divide and conquer up the state of New Jersey and make sure that there is presence with the chapters here to be able to support our young men. We also have our Activate campaign, and that stands underneath of our social and civic engagement arm. Our Activate campaign does stand for advocate, collaborate, train, influence, voice, act, transform, and empower. And underneath of this came about underneath of the direction of our International Grand Basilisk, Marika T. Harris, as she recognized the need for the women of Sigma Gamma Rho to have a stronger voice as it relates to social and civic engagement. So as mentioned by some of my previous D9 brothers and sisters, we do come together collectively for things such as voter education and registration, but we were called at Sigma to do more. We were called to raise awareness, to partner with key stakeholders, to educate all on our One Sigma platform, to amplify underrepresented voices, to take steps with lobbying and education, and to create meaningful and sustainable impact. These initiatives truly reflect something important. We do not just talk about change at Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, we institutionalize it.
Appreciate you. Nigel?
All right. So I'm privileged to be the last voice, I believe, on this. So a couple of things I want to highlight. First off, the fact that we have 340 like-minded individuals on this call tonight, that we could have been anywhere tonight, that we're doing this in the middle of a blizzard. It's not just kudos to this amazing group of panelists, but it's kudos to each and every one of you that are out there tonight that are joining us. And there's some key things I want to make sure that we highlight, right? Like we all have our great programs. We all have our culture, our colors, our calls, and our traditions, right? But there's some key areas that you've heard consistently throughout the messaging tonight, whether it's education and scholarships, supporting academic excellence, economic empowerment, promoting financial literacy, social justice and civic engagement. Voting is power, right? And in this critical year of voting, again, we have to be nonpartisan, but we just need people to go out there and go vote, right? That's the important thing. And you've heard that consistently. Talking about health and wellness and addressing health disparities, particularly for people of color, and promoting their well-being. And last, certainly not least, youth mentorship. I'll go back to where my brother Elmani started at the beginning of this discussion, right? Developing that next generation of leaders. And as Black men, I want to shout out the fraternal organizations that are on here tonight, because as organizations, we have partnered even locally here. Elmani talked about it, the Sigma Beta Club and the Kappa League and the things that we've done together and have partnering with our brothers of Iota Phi Theta, partnering with all of our D9 partners to show that when Black and brown men come together, it's really something special. Talking specifically about Sigma programs and about our national programs, I talked a little bit about them at the onset, but I'm just going to throw some numbers out there because I know we're trying to get time back. $2.8 million annually given in scholarships, 680,000 hours of real impactful community service, $18 million of financial solvency tracked through our Black Spend initiative, which seeks to track the financial impact of our Black dollars in the community. Our 3 national programs, Bigger and Better Business, which I talked about, education, social action. BBB really focused on economic empowerment, promoting entrepreneurship and financial literacy in our communities. Education, rooted in this principle of scholarship. Social action, again, civic engagement, advocacy. When we talk about our Sigma Beta Club, and I'll finish where I started, right? The Sigma Beta Club was founded in 1950 by Honorable Brother Dr. Parlett Elmore. Phi Beta Sigma had the privilege of being the first of our D9 partners to have a male youth mentoring program. Parlett Moore did this while he was the president of Coppin State University from 1956 to 1970. So he was vested in education, and it was established as a youth auxiliary and has grown today to being really a feeder and a pipeline into our young Black and brown men going to college, which is important. So again, key issues I want to make sure that if you don't leave here with anything else tonight, family, make sure you leave here tonight with understanding. It's about economic empowerment. It's about development. It's about social and civic engagement. I don't care what the colors are. We are all doing the same work out in these communities, and we're here to service the communities in which we all live and reside. That's it for me.
Now, I appreciate you for that. And I want to give a shout out to everybody who is publicly acknowledging their partnerships and working with other organizations within D9. And it's important to share that expression, because a lot of people in our virtual audience who may not be members of our organization maybe only get a chance to see us when we're having fun on the yard or at some social organization, when we go at one another in fun. And they don't realize behind the scenes and when it comes to the work of civic engagement and caring about our communities, we immediately come together. So I appreciate all of you just acknowledging the other organizations and members of the other organizations who you kind of partner with. So let me lean into another conversation a little bit. We know we're in complex and polarization that's going on this time. Different views on voting rights, different views on public policy and all of its impacts, recognizing that all of our organizations have been at the forefront or part of change throughout history. Please take a moment and share your thoughts or talk about what your organization is doing to show leadership in today's times. And I think I'm going to ask let's let the ladies acknowledge this question first, and then we'll move to the gentleman. Keisha, I'm gonna come right back to you.
Absolutely. Thank you for this question, because we are living in deeply polarized times right now. Debates around voting rights, public policy, healthcare, education, and equity are certainly on the forefront of many conversations that we are having right now. And I think it very important for me to take a moment to just reflect on our founders at Sigma Gamma Rho, as we were founded on the campus of Butler University, which was a predominantly white institution right down the street from where also the KKK was born. And so in 1922, our 7 founders were actually pursuing their advanced degrees, as they were not undergraduates. They were back at Butler getting their advanced degrees, and they recognized that there needed to be safe space in order for us to continue to move forward. And when I say us, I want to be very clear that I mean Black women to continue to move forward. And they were on this campus at a time where only 12 Black people were allowed on the campus, and our founders were 7 of those 12. Not only that, but they needed to maintain very specific GPAs and whatnot for more Black people to come. And so I say that to say, women of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated understand that it is our responsibility to answer calls in tumultuous times. And so our organization is responding by prioritizing civic engagement and voter education in ways that we never have before. This year was the first year where Sigma Gamma Rho had an organized day on the Hill in Washington, D.C., following the Congressional Black Caucus. We are also hosting policy awareness forums nationally. We are supporting grassroots community initiatives. We are investing in undergraduate leadership development because we understand that they need to be in the conversation. And we are teaching our members how to be informed, how to be strategic and courageous leaders, not reactive ones. And so change today is going to require wisdom of the past, not just passion.
Thank you. Erica?
Thank you for the question. As it pertains to leadership, I think about also our founders, because one of our first acts of public service and one of our first acts of political engagement was a few weeks after our founding, marching in the Women's Suffrage March. Because we understood that we needed to be there and we needed to make sure that we were represented in a time when women were not allowed to vote, much less Black women allowed to vote. So when I think about how we can be leaders and be at the forefront, it's about having a seat at the table. Our soror, Shirley Chisholm, said, if they don't have a seat, if you don't have a seat at the table, you bring your own chair, right? So we have to be at the table. And I think about our sorors that are currently leading at various aspects of the government, like really being involved, such as Amina Bey, who's on the Newark City Council. I think of Courtney Washington in our chapter, who just was appointed to be the school board president at Roselle. Crystal Orr, who's the president of the National Urban League in Union County. These are women that have answered the call. And in order to incite change, you have to answer the call. So I think about the various members that we currently have, and I've named a few, there are a lot to mention, that want to incite change. And by inciting change, they want to be at the table. And most importantly, we want to encourage others to be at the table. So through activism, through education, walking people through what it takes to be in public office, what are the steps you need to take? These are things that we are doing to just make sure that we amplify, educate, and empower our communities to have a seat at the table and really drive change.
That's important. You have to be at the table and in the room in order to be part of the conversation. I appreciate that. Monica?
Thank you. I just echo what my soror said. And, not only are we wanting to have a seat at the table, but in Zeta, we're preparing our members to take office, right? To run for public office and to consider how they can let their voices be heard each and every day. Our organization is committed to advocacy and committed to social justice, and we remain committed to speaking out and speaking up with communities. And so we want to make sure our membership is prepared so that they can continue to speak for those who are marginalized and those who are vulnerable, and really join forces with them. So we have our annual conferences. We're having our state conference in April. We'll have leadership training for our membership then. We just had our regional conference in October. And again, we convene our membership every year to come together and talk about what those issues are. Those critical issues are important. And we know we rise to the challenge. You know, we were founded at a time, as my Sora said, you know, women's voting rights were on the table. There was a lot of social unrest, and there was the Harlem Renaissance and the Great Depression. There was so much going on, and our founders made sure that they were rising to the occasion. And historically, we've always led the change, and we addressed those issues that were important, those issues that were impacting communities. You know, we had Congresswoman Donna Edwards out in Maryland, former Congresswoman Edwards out in Maryland. She's an advocate for change and fought the good fight around public advocacy and policy. We had Dr. Opal Lee, who was a champion and continues to be a champion, the grandmother of Juneteenth. That's why we had the Juneteenth holiday, because of her. And we have others like Zora Neale Hurston. You know, through her stories and her writing, she made sure that people understood the Black experience and how impactful and valuable our contributions are to America. And so we make sure our memberships know their history. We make sure that they are trained and prepared, and we make sure we stand with those communities so that we can fight the good fight together.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. And it's key. And I'm glad that each of you are mentioning some key figures in our history, because like we said, we know a lot of our virtual audience aren't members of D9. A lot of them didn't go to an HBCU. So some of these names that they may be learning about, they may not know the connection. So I appreciate you all sharing that as part of your responses. Annette?
Sure. It's such a great question, because it calls for us to reflect on where we came from, the origin of it, right? And the first thing that I want to think about is the Mississippi Health Project that was launched by Alpha Kappa Alpha in 1935. You know, and this was a pioneering public health initiative that provided free mobile care for the underserved African Americans in the Mississippi Delta. What's really impressive about that is that our charter members, our early on innovators who set the tone, got in their cars and drove. Black women in their cars driving through the South at night to bring medical health care to underserved African Americans, something bigger than themselves, realizing that our people were living in squalor and in conditions that were just inhumane. And they packed up their bags and went and answered the calls. And that taught us what it looks like to give unselfishly of yourself, to be present despite when things are scary or ugly or difficult. We show up and we show out. We've been on the forefront of change for a long time. And what I really would like to say is that, listen, there are things we can talk about, our notable members. We can talk about Toni Morrison because she wrote about it. We can talk about Maya Angelou because she sang about it and she wrote poems about the human condition. We can talk about Rosa Parks because she stood up and sat down at a time when we needed that, and it brought about change. We can talk about all the many things that we do separately, but what's important is that, again, there is more that unites us than separate us. And I'm really proud to be on this call with all of my D9 brothers and sisters, because we can, as it was said before, we can talk about and play around about our differences and what makes me better, what makes you better, all those different things. And I realize that we all wear different colors, but underneath the colors, the color is the same, and the purpose is the same. uplifting our people, helping each other, leaving every single place we enter better for us having been there. And that's the what being on the forefront of change looks like. Taking the young minds that are going to stand when we get too old and have to sit down, and preparing them now, pouring into them now, teaching them now, not just about our history, but about how to lead, preparing them for change, teaching them what life calls for, and then giving them the tools to meet the assignment when it comes up. So the forefront of change, that's in us. And we are the evidence of the change that came before us. And it's our responsibility to continue that change and prepare the next generation that comes up after us. And I'm proud to do that. And I'm proud to serve with every single one of my D9 brothers and sisters on this call and your organizations.
That's facts. And I appreciate that, Annette. And I'll add one other thing that's the same underneath the colors. The community needs are the same.
Yes.
And that's something that we all can and should be consistently leaning into. Nigel, come back to you.
Wow. I appreciate it, brother. Calvin, when I think about the community engagement and the partnership, my mind goes to a famous picture I know that many of us have seen on the balcony of the hotel in Memphis the day that Martin Luther King was assassinated, a member of Alpha Phi Alpha, right? And I think about the brothers that were on that balcony with him. Ralph Abernathy, right, is a member of Kappa Alpha Psi. Jesse Jackson, who we talked about today, was a member of Omega Psi Phi. I think about, my fraternity brother, the great Hosea Williams. I think about, Andrew Young, who's a member of Alpha Phi Alpha. So again, you think about the collaboration. This is something we as D9 organizations, whether folks realize or not, we've been doing since our founding, right? And it's really codified and crystallized in a picture. They say a picture speaks 1,000 words. I think about, in a few weeks, March 7th, it'll be 61 years since Bloody Sunday. And for those who are not familiar with what Bloody Sunday was and is, it was a day in which 600 demonstrators were marching from Selma to go to Montgomery, Alabama, to simply exercise their right to be able to vote, right? And we talk about what's going on today and what we see in the community today. Those same attacks, they may not be as physical as they were on that bloody day in 1961, but they're still there. And they're still real. So we as D9 organizations, we need to understand why the work that we do matters and why it's so important. When we talk about Phi Beta Sigma's engagement, it's really through constructive civil engagement. I'm going to focus on our social action initiatives because again, I know we're a little pressed for time, but it's talking about our focus on that voter education and registration, policy awareness, community forums. We talked about the Days on the Hill, which we're proud to partner with so many of our D9 partners with through not just here locally, but throughout many states around the country, and really creating safe spaces for true dialogue and educating our people of color when it comes to understanding how their vote matters. And one of the things that we've learned through our studies in looking at voter registration and voter engagement is Black and brown folks, we tend to vote mostly in presidential elections, right? Or years when there were presidential elections. But the key, and the thing I'm so proud of here in New Jersey, because I think we as D9 partners, when I hear about, some of the mayors and civic leaders and Board of Education leaders that we have, we get it. Because where the sausage is really made, where the importance really is the local engagement and making sure that our people come out in these local elections, because it's the school board elections where we decide how our children are going to be educated. It's the mayoral elections where we decide how our tax dollars are going to be put to work. So Phi Beta Sigma is definitely focused on that and focused on making sure that we partner with our like-minded organizations to make that a reality.
Appreciate you, brother. Fred?
Thank you, Calvin. We do stand at a defining moment, right? Not only in our nation's history, but in our own organizations. And so this conversation is so important. And I want to kind of take it a little back to our founders, the 7 men that we affectionately call the Jewels, right? They attended Cornell University, but keep this in mind, they weren't allowed to meet at Cornell, right? In fact, one of our founders said, Henry Arthur Collins said that society offered us narrow opportunity, and no security. Right? So you're going to a college and you're provided no security. So out of a need, a fraternity brought social purpose and social action, what we're talking about right now, right?
Mhm.
So, at Alpha, we're building an infrastructure rooted, I believe, in history, but focused really on the future. We have coordination at the national and regional levels, moving that periodical voter drives to permanent force in sharing democracy and justice at all levels. I'm going to say this. Shirley Chisholm, that great Delta, said it best, that the Constitution was designed to protect the interests of white men. There were no Black founding fathers, she said. There were no founding mothers. So they left a gap, and that gap is for all of us to fill, right? And this conversation goes to helping us fill it. So Alpha Phi Alpha, we've signed MOUs with the NAACP to encourage our members to join and be active also in NAACP. We've just signed, you probably saw, with the National Action Network as well, so we can partner with organizations that are out in the forefront. It's so important for us to do that, to, as you mentioned, Calvin, earlier, for us to continue to partner, not only with ourselves, but with other organizations that are also protecting our community and are for our community. So I'm going to stop there and let the next person go.
I appreciate you. Brother Parrish.
Brother Ledford, I'm going to push the issue a little bit and talk about this competition that we do, because we have a whole lot of fun with that, right? And competition is good because we get to push each other. And Omega Psi Phi fraternity, we believe in Christian manhood and scholarship attainment. And, in terms of colors, not everyone wears the colors that were in Jesus Christ's robe, right? Royal purple and old gold. Everybody can't do that. But at the end of the day, when we talk about competition, the bottom line is we're all speaking about college-educated men. So we're going to win either way. College-educated men at the table allowing us to exchange ideas is going to allow us to win. Now, let me just talk about what we're doing. I didn't mention Omega Day at the Capitol in Trenton because, as the saying goes, all politics is local, right? So as Nigel mentioned, we do have to think about what's happening on the local level first. And in New Jersey, in our fraternity, and our chapter operates in the 2nd District, which is comprised of New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware, and Pennsylvania. And let me just mention our leadership, our elected leadership, who is serving on the district council, pushing this agenda forward on the local politics side of things. Brother Amir Sharif, who is our district representative, Brother Leon Smith, who is our first vice district representative, and Brother Mike Robinson, who is our second vice district representative. And I'm also going to shout out New Jersey is represented as Corridor 4. All the chapters in New Jersey are outlined and organized in this, what we call Corridor 4. And that leadership is represented by my brother, Frank Tarkin Jones, who I pledged at Hampton University, Gamma Epsilon, in the spring of 1995. So we are very confident and grateful for the opportunity to serve as a collective. And I think what we really have to offer is our allegiance and our alliance, right? Not just strength in numbers, but the amplification of voices and action around what we can do together. So we are all kind of founded as social organizations, but this civic engagement thing is very, very important. And with the numbers that we have, and with the position that we have, and with the authority that we have, and with the elected officials and the professionals, et cetera, we are in the stations of life that allow us to be effective. I like to also mention that we are currently and constantly standing with our brother Benjamin Crump as he fights for social justice, and law enforcement justice, which has been plaguing us because we can't seem to, that target might be on our backs for a while, but we can't seem to shake it or get a fair deal in the justice system. So that's a very important fight as well. The legislative fight, as well as this fight against police brutality and law enforcement justice. And I'm glad that we are in this venue, have this opportunity to talk about our collective work and responsibility around what we can do as organizations of college-educated men.
Appreciate all of that.
Brother Calvin, can I just ask, Brother William, did you leave college-educated Black women out from that table?
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. But what I was mentioning, and thank you for mentioning that.
Okay.
But we don't usually jaw back and forth with the ladies, right? So when Calvin mentioned our competition as we try to dominate each other, it's primarily us, right? I don't think any one of our members of fraternities would subscribe to saying that they attempt to dominate Black women, because we don't. Right, that's a separate conversation. As we attempt, as we play in our stable and attempt to dominate each other.
Amen.
That's all I was alluding to. As we try to dominate each other, there is room for alliance and allegiance, and that's really the discussion is college-educated men. So we can't lose in that argument.
But I think
we got mad uplift for the ladies. Mad uplift.
All right, thank you.
Right. Ted, you share your thoughts?
Thing, and let me say, my brother Parrish, who I've known for a number of years, that people, in terms of us going back and forth, is always part of our DNA, and we do it joyfully. But let me just say this. I don't know, but I've been told that the streets were paved with purple and gold. But I went outside, I looked around, and they were picking up the purple and laying down the brown. So anyway,
I like that. That's good.
The 1963, that's when Iota Phi Theta was formed. The heights, as I said, of the civil rights movement. You know the events, they're etched in history. The Woolworth sit-in, JFK's civil rights speech, the assassination of Medgar Evers, the bombing of the 16th Street Church, the March on Washington. All of those things happened in that eventful year. So it's part of our DNA to understand that really where we come from and really what our obligations are. Being forged at that particular time, it's impossible for any of our leaders to really be able to lead Iota Phi Theta and not have that at the forefront. When I joined Iota Phi Theta was 12 years old, and we were an organization that was not only dominated, but totally run by young people, undergraduates, a few early graduates. And the blessing is that I've had the opportunity to interact with, stay at homes with, party with, travel with 6 or 7 of my founders. So when another brother won't tell me, I don't have to read what Iota Phi Theta is all about. I heard it from my founders directly. Having said all of that, we also know that growing up as the babies in this auspicious, let me get the word out, auspicious group, that we've had opportunities to lead, but we certainly appreciate so much when other members here on the panel say that we are willing followers, we're willing supporters of everything that's being done. Because as I may have said earlier, I think the opportunity for growth is the National Penal Council. We really don't have a signature event or an opportunity where we have collectively brought all of the might, the power, the money that we really have at our disposal to make the kind of systemic change that I think is definitely a possibility. So in this time where the challenges are so great, and I know I deal with them every day, we all have to at least confront them. The good news is that the opportunities which we have in front of us are right there, because we have not, as I said, been able to galvanize so far in a way that really makes the kind of change that we're capable of doing. So I'm going to quote, as we've all talked about, Brother Jesse Jackson, we're going to keep hope alive, that the future is exactly as bright as we all want it to be, and trust and believe that the brothers of Iota Phi Theta will come willingly along to support everybody in this effort.
Yeah, appreciate that, Ted. And I think you're looking at a committee. This conversation that's taking place right now, we have the platform as the panel, You gave us the charge. I think you're looking at a committee, and this conversation needs to continue offline and do just what you just charged us with. Elmani, I'm going to hear your thoughts, and then I'm going to ask we're going to have a quick lightning round as we're getting close to the hour, but let's give Elmani same amount of time and attention to share his thoughts.
Thank you. And I want to thank Brother Stevens for taking us into this side of the conversation, because this is what's been heavy on my mind. It's something actually that Roland Martin, member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, had stated as a critique of us. And I actually have to agree, which says that, we talk about unity, we talk about coming together, but one of the most powerful things about all of our organizations is that we have infrastructure. And infrastructure in the sense of our ability to, in a very fast and efficient way, exchange information, resources, and opportunities. But one of our challenges has always been being siloed, not just in terms of our programming, but I'm going to state this in terms of our professions, right? We know that right now in this era, we know about the 250,000 Black women, for example, that have lost their jobs due to DEI, as well as we know that the rising level of unemployment. Matter of fact, Black men lead almost in unemployment at this time. But yet within our Divine Nine, across, how many of our members are owners of their own business? How many of our members are members of are in the HR department? How many of our members have experience in terms of employment in some way, shape, or form? Yet those are the areas where I think that there is very untapped potential. If we were, as an example, to say, hey, all members of Divine Nine, spring 1993, come together in New Jersey, that would happen like this. That would happen like this. But here's some power. We can also say all members of the Divine Nine that are in the financial services, let's come together. All members of the Divine Nine that are educators, let's come together. All members of the Divine Nine that are admissions officers, especially knowing what is happening to our highly talented young Black men and women trying to go off to college and what that is. Let's come together. And we have the infrastructure not only to come together, but to exchange our information, resources, and opportunities that not just benefit the Divine Nine, but actually as a way to benefit our communities in a far greater way. We were talking about youth, and Nigel, knows this. Brother Davis, very familiar with the young men that go to college in terms of Alpha Phi Alpha. But us coming together to say what are the best practices in this time for helping young men and women. And I have to say this as an educator in some place in terms of where we should be coming together and putting the charge on our Divine Nine members that are in the mental health area. Right now, young Black girls are the fastest rate of suicide ideation in America right now. Young Black boys ages 12 up to 24 actually are, between Black men and Black women, 4 times more likely to commit suicide. We have an epidemic on our hands in terms of anxiety, depression, and suicide ideation. This is where an unsilencing can come in, because I know some amazing deltas that are in mental health. I know some amazing alphas that are in mental health. I know I have a close friend who's a Sigma Gamma Rho that's in that. So to me, when we're talking about the time period we're in, I think part of the time period we're in is an unsiloing of us where, great, we represent our organizations, we represent our chapters and everything, but we have undeniably some of the most powerful professionals. And if I can quote our fundamental purpose, in every field of human endeavor, in literally every field that's in our organizations, we need to bring that intellectual capacity and intellectual capital together so that we're doing a far greater impact in, as well as the paradigm shift within our communities. And I would say we can start in New Jersey. I'll end on this because I would like to put another charge, because it's something I unfortunately failed at when I was executive director of the Kappa Alpha Psi Foundation, and that is to get all of our organizations, national foundations to join the Association of Black Foundation Executives. That's something that I would like to see us maybe attempt and try to do going forward, to make that call to our national heads to do that. But I also would like to just continue to charge. I think, Brother Stevens, I'll join you on this, to get us together, to bring together our intellectual capacity and look at the areas in which we can best impact our community through the professionals that exist within our organization and chapters. Thank you.
Nice.
Outstanding, Armani. Outstanding. So let's paying attention to the time, and this conversation is powerful. So one thing I need to say, we need to continue it. We need to find a way to continue this conversation. You see all the comments that are going on in the chat. People want to hear more of this conversation. People want to learn more about our organizations and what we're doing and how we're doing it. And I think we have an obligation to deliver. Really quick, I'm going to ask you in a quick closing comment, because we have to turn it back over and we want to be on time. Please, just a quick 30-second comment. And the question, we know we have a number of people in our virtual audience who are not members of D9 or members of organizations, but we need a call to action now. Please, in a quick comment in your close, talk about something that someone could do to uplift the communities during these difficult times. Annette?
Well, thank you for that. And Brother Mani, excellent point. Thank you for that. For listeners who are not D9, it's easy to follow us to find out what we're doing and where you can put your hands to the grindstone and jump in and help. We are on all of the social media platforms. I think everyone drops in there and on their Facebook, social media, every place that you can look, community events that we're doing, that you can come out and join with us. We're open to that kind of participation and you coming out to support, because anything that supports the greater good is greatly good, right? So
Thank you.
Come on out and join us and see what's going on, see how you can help.
I appreciate you there. Keisha?
Thank you. And so I join in those sentiments of Annette, but also would like to say that at Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, it is okay if you are not necessarily a member of Sigma, you can still partner with us. We have our Rosebud Club. That's where we support young women from the ages of 8 years old all the way up to 11. We then have our rowers who we support from the ages of 12 to 18. And then we also have a very unique group, and that's our Philo Club. Our Philo Club is uniquely positioned for women who have not obtained a college degree, but they do want to join in on the work and to support the work that we are doing as women of Sigma.
Excellent.
So I would like to invite any women out there who perhaps maybe you did not join a Divine Nine organization because perhaps college was not the path that you chose to take. That is absolutely all right. We have a home for you here.
All right. Appreciate that. Fred?
Yeah, service. It's very important. Bring your kids to service. My wife is the first vice president for the Montclair Deltas. I'm the president of Alpha Alpha Lambda chapter, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. We were deaconess at New Hope Baptist Church. Our kids were the junior trustees there. Now our kids are in my leadership team. One's the correspondent secretary. The other one is the associate editor of the Sphinx. Get your kids involved as well. Do service. Bring your kids.
Right. Monica?
Yes. We have our Friends of Zeta, our Zeta Amici. You can also join that group too. They support our programs and they are with us in the communities. We also have our youth group, our Pearls, our Parlettes, and our Arcanettes. And then I would just say, share your stories, right? Your stories have value. Don't forget to go talk to your public officials and let them know what you need, and speak up and speak out and bring us along with you.
All right. Nigel?
So I want to call out some of the incredible organizations that are non-D9 that we talked about tonight: the Urban League, the NAACP, NCNW, the Links. Can't forget our Masonic and Eastern Star brethren that are out there that are on this call tonight: the United Negro College Fund, the Campaign for Black Male Achievement. And lastly, I want to say this: for our faith-based community engagement, you can get involved right in the place where you worship. And listen, I go to church with two of the brothers on here tonight, Brother Stevens and Brother Parrish, right? So for anybody that thinks that D9 organizations, that we're not rooted in faith-based, because we know we got people out here that want to renounce and denounce and do all this different type of nonsense, we're all based on our faith. So if you're not a member of a D9 organization, there are still plenty of opportunities for you to engage. And all of us as D9 partners are engaged with one of these organizations, if not all of them, in some way, shape, or form. Thanks, Calvin.
My man. All right, Erica?
The D9 is stronger together, but we can't do it alone. So we want you to get involved. We want you to come to our programs, as was mentioned previously. We want you to engage, read, because sometimes we don't want to know what's happening out there because there's a lot going on and it's overwhelming, but stay on top of what's happening in our world today. And join us in this battle, join us in this fight, whatever we want to call it, but join us because we cannot do this alone.
Thank you. Elmani?
Yes, simply put, if anybody out there is about the advancement of young Black males, whether in Jersey City, Newark, Maplewood, Oranges, Irvington, East Orange, Orange, we have a place for you. Our people is our people. And that's the fraternity and that's the organization that I'm a part of beyond anything else. So you always got a place to be right alongside us.
Ted?
It's very important in IOTA that we support everyone who's trying to build their own tradition. On behalf of our current Grand Polaris, Orlando Grant, our regional Polaris, Anthony Candelaria, and my Polaris, Daryl Stewart, we understand that the support we give young folks collectively is our greatest gift we can give to the community. So we stand with everyone here today, or every other of the D9 organizations. We're committed in that effort because that'll be the blessing that we see going forward.
Now, close us out. We know we can't get through the Greek alphabet without acknowledging Omega. Bill Parrish?
Yes, sir. So I would just say we have a number of programs and we are out here selling tickets all the time. But we also have free programming, just as much free programming as ticketed programming. And I would invite you to show up. Show up. There will be something in your community, whether it's a Black History program, whether it's an HBCU college fair, whether it's an HBCU Greatness Signing Day, it's a film screening, whatever it is, a legislative talk, a welcome introduction to the candidates, whatever it is, show up, please, because we can't do it without the community. As much as we want to lead, we need to be in service to the community, and we want the community to understand and recognize what we are here to offer. So please join in, show up, and participate in our free programs. You can buy a ticket every now and then too, but the free programs are important. Thank you very much.
I just want to personally thank each and every one of you for participating. The conversation was outstanding, and we have to do more of it. At this moment, I want a distinct pleasure to bring back Donna, who will help close us out. Once again, thank you all.
Great job, Calvin.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you,
There
Calvin. Great
really,
job.
there really are no words to thank each and every one of you for your presentation, your passion, your creativity. Thank you so much. This was beyond our dreams. We knew we wanted to celebrate the D9. We know that. But oh my goodness, what you've contributed tonight. And I'm so happy that this is videotaped, archived, so it will live on our website for a very, very long time. So anyone can watch this who missed it, and we'll send you the links. You'll get it in our thank you note. So thank you, Calvin, for just skillfully moderating 9 people on a panel. That was really great. And I really want to thank our producer of all of our Standing on Solidarity programs, Katab Rollins. Katab, you know, is our AVP of Performance and Broadcast Rentals, and he also produces all of our Standing on Solidarity initiatives. So thank you, Katab. I invite each of you to also become a member of NJPAC. In addition to your contribution supporting the many programs we produce, you know, you will be a part of an organization that is truly making a positive difference in many communities throughout New Jersey. So please join us next month, March 23rd, for a powerful world premiere screening of the documentary Set Her Free, Exposing the Trauma to Prison Pipeline. This will be our March Standing on Solidarity program. This will be followed by a discussion on systemic ways to end the prison pipeline. And it will be in person, provided the weather cooperates. As always, you know, there are amazing shows at NJPAC to enjoy. So look out for information on Cory Booker. He'll be here March 22nd, Floetry in April. John Legend is coming April 21st. Of course, Alvin Ailey for our Mother's Day weekend. Our 70s Soul Jams with the Stylistics, the Shy Lights. Many, many wonderful events. So we look forward to seeing you on our campus as well as out in the community. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.